Oh no.
Sarah. Move your hands, babe. I know, baby, I know. God. Listen to me, I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right, I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby, I know it hurts. Come on, baby, please. I know, baby, I know. Sarah.
From the very beginning, Naughty Dog makes it clear what type of game the player is in for. The Last of Us isn't another zombie apocalypse game in which you mow down hordes of infected, nor does it focus on scaring the player out of their seat. The game is simply about two people, Ellie and Joel, and how their relationship develops from one of distrust to one of a father and daughter, trying to survive the bleak circumstances that they find themselves in. Surrounded by death, decay, and everything bad imaginable, The Last of Us takes you on an emotional ride that will leave you at the edge of your seat till the very end. The thing that makes video games such a unique medium is the ability that they give you, the player, to interact with the world. No longer are you just the spectator behind a pane of glass. You are instead in front of the glass, moving and talking. It is the job of the game developer to facilitate that interaction, and Naughty Dog does it brilliantly by immersing you in the world completely. The controls feel responsive and are easy to use. I never felt as if Ellie or Joel acted in a way I didn't want them to. The enemies are smart and ferocious respectively, yet there is never a feeling of unfairness when fighting them. The menus and heads-up display are simple and easy to navigate, which is necessary because the game never pauses while you navigate through these menus. If you need to heal or change weapons, you must do so in real time. It can't be overstated, every aspect of The Last of Us is aimed at immersing the player and creating a believable world. The only time a suspension of disbelief was needed was in the few cases that my allies would run around enemies, or in one case, right into a clicker without being detected. Besides these few cases, I always felt a real sense of danger as I was sneaking around. That being said, stealth is key to surviving this post-apocalyptic landscape where you're always outnumbered. By using the element of surprise, an assortment of tools that can be found and crafted, and some creativity, it is possible to overcome the odds. In between each encounter, you are also given time to scrounge for supplies, as well as take in the beautiful sights and sounds.
So, is this everything you were hoping for?
It's got its ups and downs, but you can't deny the view, though.
Similar to how gameplay is used in The Last of Us, Naughty Dog places each piece of music and beautiful landscape there for a reason. Almost every plot-significant scene or important conversation in The Last of Us is accompanied by breathtaking visual detail and a beautifully orchestrated musical score by composer Gustavo Santaolalla. Then there are other times when things are completely silent and all you hear is the footsteps and voices of Ellie and Joel as you move along their journey.
Did everyone have sex back then?
Got a 60-foot yacht.
Really?
No.
Sarcasm. Making progress.
The silence is also there for a reason, to give the player an opportunity to listen to the characters and get a sense of who they are as people without any added effects. That is part of why this game is so good. It knows when to give you the added emotion of visuals and music, but also when to simply allow the characters to speak. There's something very human about these conversations that very few other games in history have replicated. By appropriately using these two elements of game design, along with the impressive voice acting of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, Naughty Dog expertly sets the mood and causes the player to feel what Ellie and Joel feel, something that is extremely difficult to do. When comparing the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 versions of the game, the PS4 is better able to evoke these emotions in the player thanks to its improved hardware. The two most basic improvements, the resolution upgrade from 720p to 1080p, and the double in frame rate are huge changes. The increase to 60 frames per second improves the quality of combat and allows for the player to have a smoother experience, while the updated resolution provides clarity and detail, especially when it comes to character modeling and the environment. This again adds a new level of immersion and makes the player invested in the characters. The changes are most apparent when compared side by side. Coming from a background of PC gaming where both of these settings are considered standard, it is refreshing to see a console game so rich in story able to compete with the visual capacity of the PC.
Have a good night.
How is it that you're never scared?
Who says that I'm not?
What are you scared of?
Let's see. Scorpions are pretty creepy. Being by myself. I'm scared of ending up alone.
The immersive gameplay and the visual and audio works created by Naughty Dog are exceptional in their own right, but it is only when these elements are used to aid in telling the story that the brilliance of The Last of Us becomes apparent. If the emotional undertones of the music isn't enough to immerse the player and cause them to feel the gravity of each scene, the voice acting of the cast will. The amount of emotion the cast puts into each line and the way in which they take on the personality of their characters truly convinces you that these characters are real. You don't simply see Joel as another video game character, but instead as a human being. A father who had his daughter die in his arms and was forced to live with this reality for 2 decades, all while having to survive in a constant state of fear and violence. Ellie isn't just any 14-year-old girl. She was born into this post-apocalyptic world without any knowledge of what a normal life was. This is made clear through the many questions she asks about life before the infection ever hit.
Is this really all they had to worry about? Boys, movies, deciding which shirt goes with which skirt. It's bizarre.
The characters are real in every sense of the word, and it isn't just true for Ellie and Joel, but for every character that makes an appearance. They have past experiences, fears, dreams, desires, and everything else you can think of that characterizes people you know. The reason this is worth mentioning is because it grounds the situation in reality with everyday people and not so everyday situations. With conventional rules of society thrown out the window, the player must ask themselves, what are people willing to do to survive, and would we do anything differently in their shoes? By playing from the perspective of Ellie and Joel, you are able to explore these questions. While some might turn to desperate and sometimes unspeakable words to survive, others will try to make the best of the situation, going as far as to put themselves in danger to protect those they care about. It is a story about these two characters, but also a story of how The Last of Us as humans react to the grim fact that we are no longer at the top of the food chain. You'll experience anger, sadness, disgust, and happiness in a way you didn't think was possible in a video game, and it is thanks to the hard work of the people at Naughty Dog.
That's all right. I believe it. No, wait!
Though the PlayStation 3 version of the game is less than perfect graphically, it more than makes up for it in other aspects. With a perfect combination of simple gameplay mechanics, an emotional soundtrack, and brilliant character development, Naughty Dog immerses the player into the dreary world of The Last of Us and creates an experience that they won't soon forget. Similar to how you feel about your favorite TV show, you will wonder what is going to happen next, or whether there is any hope of survival for Ellie and Joel. It is one of those games that you wish would never end because of how beautiful it is. When it finally does, it will literally make you say,